If someone has to ask you to do the small things, you're not going to be ready when the big moment comes. When you are faithful in the small things, when you pay attention to the details, when you have the daily disciplines necessary to succeed in the long term, what happens is you end up creating internal structures for success. Hey guys, one of the unique opportunities I've had this year is to be a mental performance coach for the USFL and to get to invest in these athletes that are aspiring to make it to the NFL. And so I wanted to share with you just a brief clip from my conversation with the players. And I think it has great application to every one of us, whether we're athletes or just trying to achieve something meaningful in our lives. Here you go. Gentlemen, congratulations on this great achievement of making it to USFL. My name is Erwin McManus, and I'm a mindset expert. Most of you have already discovered that you have the talent to make it not only in the USFL, but the ultimate goal of making it to the NFL. The difference between success and failure will not be your talent. It will be your mindset. There are, within all of us, mental structures that either structure us for failure or structure us for success. It was October 26th. I was driving in my car, listening to SportsCenter or ESPN or one of the sports talk shows. And it was the day after the fight between Buster Douglas and Evander Holyfield. 8 months earlier, Buster Douglas had shocked the world by knocking out the most fierce fighter the world had ever seen, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was seen as unstoppable. He was terrifying in the ring. And Buster Douglas did the impossible. Not only defeated him, but knocked him out. 8 months passed. Now it was time for Buster to defend his title. But he shows up out of shape, overweight, undisciplined, and unprepared. Evander Holyfield knocks out Buster Douglas with really just minutes into the fight. And what everyone was wondering is, why didn't Buster Douglas prepare himself, not necessarily to win? Sometimes you do not have control over winning or losing, but he did not prepare himself to bring his best self into the ring. So I'm listening to these sportscasters, and one of them said, why do you think Buster Douglas didn't even try? He showed up overweight, out of shape, unprepared. Why do you think he didn't bring his best effort? And another journalist said, well, Buster Douglas is known to be a really, really good guy. People really like him. They even describe him as a person of faith. I think he's a Christian, the guy went on to say. And then the third guy said something that shook me, that I'll never forget. He said, some people are simply structured for failure. When I heard that phrase, some people are simply structured for failure, I felt something shake inside of me, and I began to ask myself on that October 26, 1993, are there internal structures inside of me that posture me, position me, maybe even destine me to failure? Or do I have the internal structures for success? Because if there are internal structures for failure, there are definitely internal structures for success. I want you to realize that talent will not be the differential between success and failure. Everyone around you, look around. Every man to your right and to your left has the talent necessary to succeed. Talent will not separate you. Your mindset will. I want to talk just for a few minutes about certain mental structures that you need to succeed in whatever endeavor, whether it's making it to the NFL, whether it's having another career, whether it's to have a family, whether it is to have a profession that you can thrive, or whether it's just to live the life that you are designed and created to live at its best. I'm going to talk to you about 3 simple structures that will shape not only your mindset, but your character. The first one is faithfulness. People who are resilient, and that's really what we're talking about, all demonstrate the characteristic of faithfulness. It means that they focus on the small things. Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants to catch that touchdown in the corner of the end zone and win the game. Everyone, when they makes that sack that shuts down the other team's quarterback, everyone wants to have that great moment, that great play, to be known for their greatness. The problem is that greatness isn't an accident. Greatness is the accumulation of small choices and small decisions that are made every single day. Faithfulness looks like discipline when you apply it to a sport. It's being disciplined in the small things, going to bed early, getting up early, drinking the water you're supposed to drink, eating the food you're supposed to eat, getting to practice and bringing 110%, not trying to find a way out of the hard work, but finding a way to bring more to the hard work than anyone else expected of you. Some of you are already separating yourselves by your faithfulness. Some of you are already paying attention to the details. You're already committed to the small things. If someone has to ask you to do the small things, you're not going to be ready when the big moment comes. When you are faithful in the small things, when you pay attention to the details, when you have the daily disciplines necessary to succeed in the long term, what happens is you end up creating internal structures for success. You develop a resilience because that faithfulness, being faithful in the small things, prepares you for the great opportunities. That unbelievable catch, that unbelievable pass, that block that opened up a hole for a running back to score the touchdown, that play that shut down the other offense or broke down the other defense, none of those are an accident. They are the accumulation of 11 men on the field at the same time, being equally committed to the discipline of the details. When every individual is faithful, you begin to do the extraordinary. The first characteristic of resilience, of creating a mindset that can overcome failure, that can overcome hardship, that can overcome disappointment, is faithfulness. The second is humility. What you find is that humble people are more resilient than arrogant people. And this is kind of a tricky thing because you've probably been talented all of your life. What happens with talent is it creates room for ego. What happens when you have more talent than everyone else, it creates the environment for arrogance. And what happens with arrogance is that you assume your talent will be enough to separate you from everyone else. Welcome to the new world. Your talent now makes you look average because you have men all around you who have world-class talent. The key now is to take on the attribute of humility so that you can maintain a posture of teachability. Arrogant people cannot learn. Humble people are always learning. When you choose a posture of humility, you become teachable. When you are teachable, you can improve. When you improve, you can go from good to great. You can go from great to extraordinary. And what coaches are looking for, they're looking for players who are faithful in the details, and they're looking for players who are teachable. They don't press back when they're being critiqued. You should not get angry when you're criticized. You should not get angry when a coach is pointing out what you've done wrong. You should actually thank him. Because when you have a posture of humility, you want to grow, you want to learn. You're not shocked that you still have to improve. You're not surprised that there are things in your entourage of skills and abilities that you still have to develop. Humility postures you to be teachable, and teachability might be the singular most important characteristic for unlimited growth and achieving your full potential. If you want to be resilient, if you want to have the mindset that you need to step in every single day, to face every challenge, to take on every opportunity, you need to be faithful and you need to be humble. Faithfulness gives you a focus on the details. Humility gives you a posture of teachability so that you can keep growing. And there's one more attribute I want to focus on, and this one is gratitude. Resilient people express these three characteristics: the characteristic of faithfulness, the characteristic of humility, and the characteristic of gratitude. Now, I know it may seem strange when you're talking about football and your goal is to go from the USFL to the NFL. Why should you focus on gratitude? It's very simple. Gratitude is the internal fuel that allows you to face all the difficult moments to come. You are going to have bad days. You are going to face disappointment. You are going to have days where you drop the pass, you miss the tackle, you miss the block, you miss the throw. You are going to have days where you're going to have that internal struggle, wondering if it's worth it, if all this work is really worth the outcome that may never have. But when you're grateful, you're not just committed to the outcome, you're committed to the process. You wake up every day grateful that you get to do this. You are one of the few people in the world that has the opportunity to live your life as a professional athlete. Just that should give you enough gratitude to fill the whole day. Grateful people see the opportunity. Ungrateful people only see the obstacle. If you want to have the mindset that allows you to always look for that opportunity, that possibility, the potential in the moment, you have to have a posture of gratitude. By the way, scientists now describe gratitude as the lubricant of the brain. When you're grateful, your mind actually becomes more agile. Your mind becomes more flexible. Your mind becomes more adaptive. If I could say it this way, when you're grateful, you just become smarter. And smarter people have more capacity, more potential, more opportunity, and more success. Being grateful will make you smarter. You will actually see the opportunities in front of you. And you will engage every day with a completely different posture. When coaches calling you to work a little harder, to run a little more, to dig a little deeper. If you're ungrateful, you will not have the energy to step into that moment. You'll be asking the question, why do we have to work so hard? Why do I have to do this? Why can't I just go on the field and display my talent? But when you're grateful, you realize I have the opportunity to work hard. I have the opportunity to show my discipline. I have the opportunity to bring my best every day. And when you're grateful and you're on the bench, when you're grateful and you're second team, when you're grateful and the opportunities haven't come together the way that you hope they would, when you're grateful, when that moment comes, you will be ready. Ungrateful people are always unprepared for the biggest moments in their life. Grateful people are always ready to step up, to step in, and get the job done. What you need in the weeks and months and years ahead are the resilience to face the great challenges of life. You've taken on a life with big challenges. You've decided you're going to go for it and be a professional athlete. You have a dream and a goal of playing in the NFL. That's going to take everything inside of you. All of your talent, all of your discipline, all of your mental structures. Some people are simply structured for failure. You will not be one of them. You will be structured for success. You will take on the mental structures that will bring the very best out of you. You will decide to destroy internal limitations and be unlimited in your capacity to bring your full talent to every moment. I want to thank Coach Zach for creating this space where we can invest in you. And I am honored and privileged to invest in you as well. I'm going to create a Zoom call, a live one, where those of you who want to keep growing and developing and want to develop internal structures for success, I want to invite you to join me. You can bring any question. It can be about football. It can be about your personal life. It can be about other dreams, other goals, other aspirations. I simply want to help you because that's the USFL's commitment to you. They don't just want to help you become the next person in the NFL, the next player that steps up into the NFL. They want to help you be the best human being you can, to live the best life you can. And when that happens, no matter how things play out, you will know you've brought your best, you are your best, and you're ready for the future.